Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to talk to you about spiritual tools. Now, spiritual tools are very dear to me, so I'm going to try to make this video kind of short, but I have a lot of materials to show you, and I want to get through them without making the video too long. The purpose of a spiritual tool is to help focus your thoughts and your actions, and it also helps you connect to divine source. That may be the single most important purpose of a spiritual tool, is that it helps you connect with divine source almost instantly. So a spiritual tool is a consecrated object, and it can be any object. It's better if, or should I say it's more powerful and more effective if you have some type of connection to it. If you feel that it's a special kind of object. Certain objects that you're connected to, especially emotionally, you'll feel more comfortable when you're using it and when you're connecting with it or handling it. Okay? Now, all you have to do is consecrate the item, which means that you are making it special, making it sacred, and you're going to also set it aside to be used only for some type of spiritual purpose. Now, you'll find that most religions have sacred, consecrated items that they use, and this can be in a church or synagogue, a mosque. When you conduct the Holy Eucharist, those items are set aside especially for that purpose and that purpose only. The cups are used for nothing else but the Holy Eucharist, or the dishes that the bread is in. It's only used for that purpose. Even though it's still in the religious setting, it's only used for the Holy Eucharist or the Holy Communion. That's the only thing you use it for. What I'd like to do though is to go over some of the items so that you can see that these are plain, ordinary, everyday items. Now, what you will do is you will set them aside, because what I do, I have several, well, I have quite a few items, but I don't leave them around so that anyone can come by and pick them up and handle them and use them. I sit them in a special place. I keep them in a special place. And so what I will show you is I have a couple of boxes that I use. I have a box that I use at home, and that's this one. It's a good size. It's got some stuff in it. And I have one that I travel with. Oops. And that's this one. And it's a small one. I picked these boxes up at Michael's. There's nothing special. There was nothing special about the box. I like it. I like the design on it. And I like that it had this little magnetic flap that kind of kept it closed. But I was attracted to the color of the flowers on it, and I picked it up and handled it, and it's nice and smooth, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Now I want to cover some objects that I use a lot of. I will cover those and show you. You may recognize, you'll recognize all of the objects, almost all of them. Water. This is just plain ordinary water, and you can consecrate it, and you can make this holy water. Olive oil. This is just olive oil, and a lot of people cook with it, consecrate it. It can be used for anointing people or objects. So these are plain everyday items. However, I wouldn't sit this, because this, I do use this for spiritual purposes. This sits on a shelf, separated from everything else. That's the only thing that I put on that particular shelf, and that shelf isn't an altar, but that's where I put certain items that I've set aside for use. Now, what I will show you too, candles. I use a lot of candles. These are just ordinary birthday candles, and this is a pillar candle, but you can inscribe on these candles and use them for specific purposes. This looks like a regular utility candle, which I don't have one here, but it's plain. I really love these because you can put anything on these that you want, any purpose that you want on these. And some people do use them for lighting when the power goes out. This is one of the religious candles, which it'll have a saint on it or some other religious figure on it and a prayer on it, which it looks just like this one, except this one is plain. Candles. You can also use utility candles. I think I said that the utility candles, the ones that they use when the lights go out. And I love this right here, so I bought it. It was gorgeous. And it is a nice decorative piece. It is for tea light candles. And therefore, this is another candle that can be used. It goes right in there. And I thought this would be really nice, so I got a nice set of them, and I use them, break them out and use them for special religious occasions. That's what those are for. Those are candles. Now, ordinary objects. Here's something that I actually made myself, so you can construct stuff out of ordinary items. This branch, it was a branch that I got off of a tree, and then I just used some wire, copper wire, and twisted it for a symbol. And I used that to brand or make designs on candles when I'm using the candles. This is a stylus, and it's used for embossing, scrapbooking. I have some tools like this when I do certain artwork, crafts. A lot of spiritual work or writings are done with this type of quill, and you use the different dragon blood, dove's blood, bat blood ink. You would need a quill pen like this. But these are just ordinary items. Now, before you use them for your spiritual work, you'll need to consecrate these. And this is a fountain pen, and I preferred this because it's extremely smooth. I like the feel and the look of it, and it has capsules in it. And if you see one of my other videos, you'll see how I adapted it for the bat's blood, dragon blood, and dove's blood ink. Now, when you go to certain, I think if you go to like a casino or bingo hall or someplace like that, you'll see people have these nice little religious figures. Sometimes you'll see them with a Buddha or a cat. Those are considered fortune items of fortune. Even if you purchase one, and that's what it's intended for some people. Some people, they use them as religious statues, and that's what they are to them, and they sit them around. You can do that too, but if you're going to use it for any religious or spiritual purpose, I'll say spiritual purpose, you want to consecrate the object, no matter what the intent was when it was made, because the people making it that day, they're generally at work. They may not have had a great day. They may be having a bad day, and you don't want all that energy on the things that you're using. So you want to cleanse them, and then you want to pray over them or do some type of ritual over them to consecrate them. This I thought was really nice. I grabbed it because I thought it was jade, so the young lady said it was a type of jade, and it can be a necklace or a charm, and it can be used as well. All these items I'm showing you are everyday items, and they can be used for that purpose. This is an ordinary ink pen, and you can use it for that purpose. You don't have to have the quill pen or the fountain pen. You can use just an ordinary ink pen. And I will show you, these are one of my specialty items. A lot of people in their sacred writings use parchment paper. I no longer use parchment paper. I use metaphysical papers. These papers have certain herbs in them for specific purposes. Now, years ago, talismans were very popular, extremely popular, and talismans are usually drawn on a piece of parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, then you can use some other type of paper, because some people have done that. That's what you do, that's what you do. But now the talisman come in a metal form, and they come in different sizes. So for this talisman, I made it into an earring. And so if I'm wearing this earring, it just looks like a plain ordinary earring. No one else knows. When they see it, it's just an ordinary earring. Sorry about that. I keep looking at the camera. It's an ordinary earring. I want to make sure it's in the view so you can see it. Some other objects that can be used, key. These always seem to have, now you can use any funky key that you find in the store. You can just go purchase the key. You can have it cut if you want to, or you can leave it plain. But if it has some odd shape that you're drawn to it, that would make it even more special. And these are, this is one of the old skeleton keys, which is can be a really great object. I recommend using the object for making something out of it, or getting something that will help symbolize the goal that you're trying to acquire. This is a skeleton key. For instance, if someone wanted to, if you were aspiring your goal to get a home or a building, I'd use a key like this, a skeleton key, because that is what used to unlock doors. If it's a vehicle, I would go to the store, I really would go to the store and purchase a key that is made for that particular vehicle. If it's a GM vehicle or Honda vehicle, going to the store and purchase, it can be a blank key. Go to the store and purchase a blank key. Either have them cut it, you can have them cut something on it, or just have it blank and use that. Bring it home, consecrate it, and use that as a symbol to help move you toward that goal. That's a spiritual tool. I also use a lot of crystals, all different types. If you were to come to my home, you see crystals everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. Crystals have metaphysical properties on them, or in them. Each are different, and so you use them for different purposes. I found, now I had this necklace, and I didn't generally wear it, but this stone, I found this stone, and this stone, I really like this stone, so I put it on this necklace. Now, if I wear it, it looks just like a plain ordinary necklace, and all I would do is, when I wanted to more or less activate it or connect with spirit, if I want to connect with spirit, I would just touch the stone, maybe rub the stone, the back of it or the front of it. It doesn't matter. I just grab the stone and stroke the stone. It immediately brings my mind into a place where it centers on divine source. The other, I'll go through these crystal objects. These are some other objects that I use at times. Headbands. Use just an ordinary headband. These are ordinary metal headbands, and I use the metal ones. I tried using the other plastic ones that you put on, and they'll break after a while. They'll break, but these metal ones were really good, and politely wrap the crystal on it. You can see there's different crystals on there, different purposes. These are spiritual tools. Here's a wand that was made using copper wiring and crystals. It can also double as a pendulum. Depends on what I'm doing. Other metaphysical charms or talisman made using just ordinary crystals. That's all that is. Ordinary crystals are used, but for a specific purpose, and then you consecrate it. You can use any type of coins, currency coins. What I like to do is I would get, this is just a regular quarter, but I would, if I was going to use a coin for a spiritual tool, well, depends on what I'm doing. Certain rituals, I use just ordinary coins. If it was some special thing, a goal that I was going to work towards, and I was going to use the coin as a spiritual tool, or currency as a spiritual tool, I would get one that was somewhat odd. We have like a 50-cent piece, a gold tone dollar, Susan B. Anthony dollar or Liberty dollar or something like that. It's a gold toned. I would use something that was different, not ordinary, and that way if I put it in my pocket and go to pull it out, I won't spend it. I will have it in my pocket. And sometimes you will mix, if you're using a coin to increase finances, then you want to mix it and mingle with other money. You don't want to spend it, but you want to mix and mingle it with other money because you're attracting money. A really special one that I have made is this one. And I put it on I keep it on my necklace. And it can be used as a pendulum. I have several different uses for it. Love using it as a pendulum to move energy, but I always keep this with me. And I'm generally wearing this, but for the purposes of the video, and usually if I'm at home, sometimes I won't wear it. You may recognize this mala. These are plain ordinary beads. Tiger eye beads is what they are. I generally will not use artificial crystals. I use natural crystals and mineral crystals on beads and stuff. But you will find a rosary. It's the same thing as a rosary. Other ordinary objects, plain old envelope, plain old studs. I'll show you. And a plain old box. It used to be a plain old box, but this box, along with its contents, have been transformed. It has been transformed. And it has several things. This is not an ordinary ink pen, and I know when I see it, I know the purpose of it, and therefore I would not use it for anything. This is used for specific writings. But you can make ordinary items into extraordinary objects or spiritual tools simply by consecrating them. Spiritual tools are quite powerful in that they continue and instantly link you with divine source. They will take you right out of your thought processes that you're in the middle of, especially if you're having a busy or hectic day or things don't seem to be going the way you plan them to go. You can connect with that spiritual tool and almost instantly bring you to a spot, a centered spot, as if you were meditating. That's really what spiritual tools are for, to help you connect with divine source at any time and quickly, so that it doesn't take very long. And you can do this throughout the day. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.